In these problems, we are subtracting integers, and some of them are negative and some of them are positive, and this can get a little confusing. My suggestion is to change every subtraction problem to an addition problem. So for example, -3 minus 4, let's write that as a -3 plus a -4. And then, maybe that doesn't seem like much of a change, or maybe that seems even more complicated, but really, once you think of these as addition problems, you can follow a set of rules. There are 4 different rules for how this works with adding integers with signs. But once you get used to them, I think they're not too hard to remember. The simplest one, which is really intuitive, and you probably won't have to remember because it will seem obvious, is that if you add 2 positive numbers together, you get a bigger positive number, as shown in this chart here. And similarly, if you add 2 negative numbers together, the same kind of thing happens. You get a bigger negative number. So a -2 plus a -2 adds up to a -4. It's like you just add the 2's and stick a negative sign on it in the answer. So these two, I think, are pretty easy. The other 2 situations you can have is when one of them is negative and one of them is positive. If the positive one is bigger, you're going to get a smaller positive answer. So when you do that, you just subtract the smaller number from the bigger number and make it positive if the positive was bigger. The other situation is where the negative is bigger, and again, you just subtract the smaller thing from the bigger thing, but this time because the negative was bigger, you put a negative sign on it. So those are the rules, and this chart maybe will help you remember those. But let's actually try these problems. We have -3 minus 4. So I've converted this to -3 plus 4. So that's this situation right here. I've got 2 negative numbers that I'm adding together. So I add the 3 and the 4. That equals 7. And I slap a negative sign on it because they were both negative to start with. So this is -7. Let's try 3 minus 7. So first I'm going to write this as an addition problem. 3 plus a -7. And in this case, I've got one positive and one negative. So I'm going to subtract the values. So I'm going to take 7 and subtract 3 from it, ignoring the signs for now. 7 minus 3 is 4. And then since the bigger number was negative, that's the sign of my result. So -7 and a positive 3 add up to a -4. Let's try another set of these. So here we have 2 minus 5. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2 plus a -5. And this is a situation where one's positive, one's negative. So I'm going to find the difference. I'm going to subtract first. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So their difference is 3. And the bigger one is negative. So my answer is negative. So this is a -3. And here we have -4 plus a -7. So this time they're both negative. I just add the values. 4 plus 7 is 11. And then slap a negative sign since they were both negative. So that is a little bit of work with subtracting integers with positive and negative signs.